Today's recipe is gonna be Kenafa stuffed with cream and mozzarella cheese. In today's recipe, I'm gonna show you how to make the Kenafa dough and how to make the stuffing, which is the cream itself. For the Kenafa, we'll need 1.5 cup of semolina, 1 cup flour, 2 tablespoons sugar, 1 tablespoon vanilla, half a cup melted butter, 1.5 cup warm milk. We're gonna start adding the semolina, the flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla powder, or you can add rose water if you like it instead of the vanilla, the half a cup of the melted butter, and 1.5 cup of milk. Mix all the ingredients well until it's all well incorporated. It's gonna look like cake batter. Get a baking sheet, grease it with butter and dust it with some flour, and start adding your dough. Spread it evenly. In the meanwhile, preheat the oven 395 degrees, and we're gonna go ahead and bake it for only 15 minutes. It does not need to take any color, just to cook and like very little. Make sure that it's even and it's flat. And after we put it in 15 minutes in the oven, we're gonna take it out, let it cool completely. And this is how it looks after it's out from the oven. And after it's cooled, we're gonna get our food processor and we're gonna start grinding into fine powder. And this is gonna be our base for the Kenafa. This is what we're gonna use to stuff. And after that, I'm gonna show you how to make the cream, which is the Qamir or Ashta. And for the Qamir or the Ashta, we will need 1 pint of heavy whipping cream and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And we're gonna start mixing it before we putting it on the stove until we make sure that all the cornstarch dissolved. And then we're gonna take it to the stove on medium heat, and we're gonna keep whisking it, so make sure that we don't have any lumps until it comes into simmer and it comes very thick. And in the meanwhile, I'm making a syrup from 1.5 cup sugar, 1.5 cup of water, and half lime juice or lemon juice. And I let it cool down room temperature. This is the consistency that we're looking for. And then we're gonna start assembling our Kenafa. For assembling the Kenafa, we will need 2 tablespoons of room temperature ghee, less than 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, or you can add orange food coloring. And we're gonna mix them and we're gonna spread it into our baking dish or baking sheet, whatever you're gonna use, either Pyrex or stainless steel. And then we're gonna get our cream, and we're gonna add 1 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese into it, and we're gonna start mixing it. We have to let the cream cool down before using it. Then we're gonna take some of the Kenafa that we made earlier, and we're gonna start adding it at the bottom of the baking dish, and we're gonna start pressing down very hard to make sure it's like all put together, because after we cook it we're gonna flip it, so we want to make sure that it doesn't fall apart. And then we can use the bottom of our measuring cup or any cup you have to make sure it's pressed more down and it looks like one piece. Then we're gonna take our stuffing and we're gonna start spreading it evenly, but we're not gonna go all the way into the edges. We're gonna leave some space. We're not gonna cover the whole bottom with our cream. And the ratio for the Kenafa and the cream, it's totally up to you. I like my cream a lot in the middle, so that's gonna be your preference. And after we're done with that part, we're gonna go ahead and take another part of the Kenafa to cover the top, but it's not gonna be as much as the bottom. It's gonna be very little, just enough to cover the cream, so when we bake it, it doesn't burn. We're gonna start with the edges to make sure it's well covered. Like how you see, it's enough to cover. It's not completely, like you still can see the cream. And with a spoon, we're gonna apply very little pressure just to make sure it's well, like how you say it, like glued to the cream. In the meanwhile, I'm preheating the oven for 395 degrees before baking it, and we're gonna put it for about 20 minutes or until it's golden from the top. And then we're gonna take it out of the oven. We're gonna flip it and we're gonna add the syrup. The Kenafa needs to be super hot and the syrup needs to be room temperature. You can add as much syrup as you want, and then you can add more when serving. And you can decorate it with any kind of nuts, or you can leave it as is. I choose walnuts to decorate it with. And now it's ready, and I'm gonna cut a piece for you to show you how it looks from the inside. The cheese is melted. See how it's golden? And this is how you make Kunafa with cheese and cream. I hope that you like it and enjoy.